Genesis 7. Then the Lord said to Noah, Go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals, the male and his mate, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, the male and his mate, and 7 pairs of the birds of the heavens also, male and female, to keep their offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For in 7 days I will send rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground. And Noah did all that the Lord had commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came upon the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him went into the ark to escape the waters of the flood, of clean animals and of animals that are not clean, and of birds and of everything that creeps on the ground. 2 and 2, male and female, went into the ark with Noah, as God had commanded Noah. And after 7 days the waters of the flood came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened, and rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and his sons, Shem and Ham and Japheth, and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark, they and every beast according to its kind, and all the livestock according to their kinds, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, every winged creature. They went into the ark with Noah, 2 and 2 of all flesh, in which there was the breath of life. And those that entered, male and female, of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. The flood continued 40 days on the earth. The waters increased and bore up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed so mightily on the earth that all the high mountains under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed over the mountains, covering them 15 cubits deep. And all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds, livestock, beasts, all swarming creatures that swarm on the earth, and all mankind. Everything on the dry land, in whose nostrils was the breath of life, died. He blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground, man and animals, and creeping things and birds of the heavens. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those who were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. The word of the Lord. In this chapter we see the destruction of all living things. Total animal death, total human death, total creeping thing death, annihilate everything that exists, so on and so forth. People often want to take God to task for brutally destroying life, either as we see it in the modern day, as is reported here in Genesis, or in other parts of the Old Testament where God commands that, a certain people be wiped out, or different parts of history where a civilization crumbles, millions die. We want to be morally superior to God, saying that, we would keep these things alive, we wouldn't destroy them. But God gave everything that lives the breath of life, and he can take it away. He has that power, he has that authority the only reason that anything exists is because he's made it so. And so, in this chapter, we see everything getting unmade, sort of in a similar pattern to the way in which it was made, where you have them being named the different kinds, the dry land and the sea, and man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens. And then the ark is described as floating on the face of the waters, which potentially is parallel with the Spirit of God hovering over the face of the waters in chapter 1. Interesting comparison there. For my part, of course, I think the thought of everything coming to an end, everything being destroyed, is unpleasant. I want the animals to survive. Animals seem nice. Most people, probably, I would want to see live and not be destroyed in a giant cataclysm. But God promises that he's not going to unmake the earth in the same way, but he does still bring judgment. There's maybe even some things in the news right now that you could look at and point to as signs of God's judgment. That's whether it's good news or bad news in the world, God is making his power known. So you can't just say that all the bad things are just accidents and all the good things are those are the things that God was doing. God works out the disasters and the salvations as well. They all go back to God, and we don't always know what he's doing with them, but the definitely judgment is the recurring theme, and we're a people who need judgment. Essentially, we're the thoughts of our hearts in our society are evil continually. So if fire and flood and all manner of disasters are happening to us, we shouldn't be surprised. Not that we should want these things to happen to us or to other people, but they're going to happen, and you can't complain that it isn't deserved. You might point to individual people who were innocent, who were good-hearted, who didn't deserve to have their lives ruined. I do believe there is a kind of innocence in this world, and it is tragic to see it suffer, but at the end of the day, there is no ultimate innocence that can escape the force of death in this world. It's always going to hit you somehow. Sometimes more pleasant, other times less pleasant, but it will get you. And the way in which it gets you is designed to prove a point. Maybe the point isn't always clear to you at the time, but God's always teaching us in the way that he destroys things, and in what he chooses to preserve. I find it interesting that all those who entered, male and female, of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Very interesting sentence. Couple sentences there. Noah built the ark himself, but it's God who shuts him in, who closes the door, who is unmaking the world around him, but is preserving the micro world of the ark safe on the inside, with its different layers representing the different tiers of heaven and earth, and waters under the earth, the sort of three-layer cosmology of the ancients, the male and female inside, and all of the different beasts inside. We do have these opportunities in a decaying and dying world to build smaller worlds, whether that's in our families, friend groups, the things that we make. We can preserve life and truth as everything is being swept away around us. And if we're seeking righteousness and crying out to God, and He's blessing our efforts, protecting us, I think He can, bring us through the forces of death and create a new life that we couldn't even imagine, whether that's sort of on a personal level and in our hearts, the way that our hearts need to be kind of destroyed and remade in a certain way. And that can also be true on a civilizational scale. There's so much evil that does need to be swept away, and good things get swept away in the midst of all the evil being swept away, but God also preserves these good things, and we can be a part of that as well. Until it's our turn to go. All right. You have a good day.